Joseph Yahalom is a professor of Hebrew literature at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem since 1983. He has been a member of the Academy of the Hebrew Language. Biography. Joseph Yahalom was born in Israel on April 11, 1941. In 1960, he graduated from Lifshitz College of Education in Jerusalem. In 1962, he completed his BA in Hebrew Language and Literature at the Hebrew University. In 1967, he was awarded an M.A. in Hebrew Language from the Hebrew University. In 1973, he completed his Ph.D. at the Hebrew University. Yahalom is married to Shlomit and has 5 children. They live in the Nayot neighborhood of Jerusalem. Academic career. Yahalom has taught at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem since 1974. He also taught at Harvard University in Boston, the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, University of Pennsylvania and Yale University. In 1978, he was a research fellow at the Taylor-Schechter Genius Unit at Cambridge. In 1986, he was the editor of Tarbut's Quarterly published by Hebrew University's Institute of Jewish Studies. In 1991, he served as chair of the Hebrew University Department of Hebrew Literature. Yahalom is the author of numerous books and articles on Hebrew poetry, from Byzantine Palestine to the early modern period. Much of his work explores the connections between Hebrew poetry and the literature of the other groups living in the same time and place. For example, the link between Piyyut and Syriac and Greek Christian hymns, between Hebrew poetry from Spain and the emerging romances in European languages, and between early modern mystical Hebrew poetry in the Ottoman Empire and Turkish songs. He also has written extensively about the bilingual culture of Judah al-Harazi. Awards and recognition. 1970 Warburg Prize, 2003 Ben Zvi Prize for Life Achievement in the Study of Palestinian Jewry, 2011 Giving a Diamond, Essays in honor of Joseph Yahalom on the occasion of his 70th birthday, edited by Wood van Beckerman na Katsumata, Leiden, Brill, 2012 Bialik Prize. Published works, books in English, Ottoman Melodies, Hebrew Hymns, US 16th Century Cross-Cultural Adventure, Hungarian Academy, Budapest 1995, 208 pp. Palestinian vocalized Piyyut manuscripts in the Cambridge Genesa Collections, Cambridge University Press 1997, 187 pp. Plus 16 plts. Avodah, an anthology of ancient poetry for Yom Kippur, Pennsylvania 2005, 390 pp. In Hebrew, Yehuda Halevi, Poetry and Pilgrimage, Poetry and Society in Jewish Galilee of Late Antiquity, and others. Articles Andalusian Poetics and the work of Elazar ben Yeroff of Baghdad. In Hispania Judaica Bulletin 4521. Angels do not understand Aramaic, on the literary use of Jewish Palestinian Aramaic in late antiquity. In Journal of Jewish Studies 47 13344. The Aramaic alphabet from Eretz Israel to Italy. In Materia Judaica 35660. The context of Hebrew imitations of Muvasahat in Egypt. In Poesia Estrophica 357-366. Divan and Odyssey. Judah Halevi and the Secular Poetry of Medieval Spain in the Light of New Discoveries from Petersburg. In Miscellanea de Estudios Árabes y Hebraicos 44, Sección de Hebreo 23-45. The Drama of Joseph and His Brothers in Piyyut Literature. In Studies in Arabic and Hebrew Letters, 249 to 260. For the material to the spiritual, scriptural allusions and the development in Judeo-Arabic liturgical poetry. In Prayers That Cite Scripture, 101 to 119. The Journey Inward, Judah Halevi between Christians and Muslims in Spain, Egypt, and Palestine. In Hebrew Scholarship and the Medieval World, 138 to 148. Judah Halevi, Records of a Visit from Spain. In the Cambridge Geneser Collections, 123 to 135. Love's Labors 1. The Materialization of Love in Hebrew Girdle Poems. In circa 1492, 189 to 204. Lyric and Liturgy in the Gabrielian Tradition. In Zutot 2, 4155. New Clues from an Encounter with Old Spanish. In Jewish Studies at the Turn of the 20th Century, I 561 to 567. Paradox in Late Antique Jewish Poetry. In Jewish Studies in a New Europe, 886 to 905. Piyyut as Poetry. In the Synagogue in Late Antiquity, 111 to 126. The Poetics of Spanish Piyyut in light of Abraham ibn Ezra's critique of its pre-Spanish precedents. In Abraham ibn Ezra y su tiempo, 387 to 392. The Sepphoris Synagogue Mosaic and its Story. In From Jura to Sepphoris, 83 to 91. Synagogue Inscriptions in Palestine, of stylistic classification. In a Manual, 104756. Syriac for dirges, Hebrew for speech, Ancient Jewish Poetry in Aramaic and Hebrew. In the Literature of the Sages, 375 to 391. The Temple and the City in Liturgical Hebrew Poetry. In the History of Jerusalem, 270 to 294. Tensions between Sephardic traditions and Ottoman influences in Jewish literary activity. In